How's it going, guys? Josh here with Styus Cards, and it's been a pretty exciting last 24 hours. We finally got the release of Master Duel. Uh, I didn't get to play it too much on day one. I had a pretty busy day, which I'm kind of sad I did, but it was a fun day, so can't complain there. But Master Duel is out, and it's a pretty overwhelming game if you're not used to a game like this. I'm gonna be honest. There's so many different packs you can buy once you start buying the normal packs. There's so many different choices on decks that you can play. I mean, we have the full TCG, basically the full TCG list. We do not have Dawn of Majesty or Burst of Destiny, but we have so many cards in this game. There's so many different options that you can take when you're trying to decide what deck you want to play. There's just so many different routes. So in this video, I'm gonna kind of talk about my experience, like what I personally did with Master Duel, what you really should do with Master Duel, and then just like some more options that you have to do with Master Duel. So just know that there's a ton of videos like this. You could really look anywhere for a video like this, but I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh for 10 years basically, like 7 competitively. That's when I basically started going to tournaments and whatnot. But I'm going to talk from my personal experience with games like this. I played a lot of Duel Links and just my Yu-Gi-Oh personal experience. So thanks everybody for tuning in and let's get started with
This
this video.
is
Not a deck, first of all. This is just a collection of some of the best cards, in my opinion. These are some of the strongest cards, some of the cards that are known to have really good effects that help you win duels in real Yu-Gi-Oh! And all of these cards are either super rare or ultra rare. Now, these aren't all specific cards for a deck. Yes, there's like a Diviner in here, an Alistair, Grass, but there's also cards like DD Crow, Effect Veiler, Dino Wrestler, Pankratops. This is a very intimidating picture right here. There's just so many ultra rares and super rares that it's like I said, it's intimidating. That's just, you have to put so many resources in if you wanted to have a full collection in this game. And you don't need a full collection, luckily. You could maybe find a deck you really like to play and just play that deck. And then just kind of as you're playing and going up the ladder, you're getting gems and you can just transition into owning 2 decks. But for the time being, I only have 2 decks and I don't have like any good cards really. I did buy some of the bundles, the best deal ones, but it really didn't do that much. Yes, I was able to make my deck cores, but I don't really have enough resources for many other things. Now, I do have like 350 super gems and a decent amount of ultra gems, but I figured I'd want to start saving just because of how expensive this game is really going to be. But like, just let's look at some of these cards a little closer. Like Engage is an ultra rare, Pot of Extravagance a super rare, and like this just really adds up. You got to be careful when you're crafting your cards. You don't want to make too many archetype cards for like a ton of different decks because you're not going to be able to have any staples in there. You're not going to be able to have any of your trap cards. You're not going to be have any of your extra deck cards because like this extra deck is 15 cards, and these are maybe like some of the best cards in the extra deck possible. And every one of these cards is an ultra rare. Like Colossus is an ultra, ABC Buster Dragon is an ultra. This isn't one of the best cards, but it really should be. Boral Sword is an ultra, Saryuja, Verte, Anaconda. So really the first thing is just kind of understanding how expensive some of these cards are going to be. This is a big commitment if you do want to play this game. If you want to play it competitively, you are probably going to have to play with purchases. I really don't see a way around it. Of course, there's always ways to play free to play. The game supplies you with enough gems, and if you are smart about it, you can probably make a competitive deck without spending too much money. But I just wanted to go over real quick on how much ultra rares and super rares really make up the game. They are very key. Common and rares are kind of just like random things in your deck core, but to play this game at like the full capacity, ultras and super rares are like 100% necessary to be
when I
played.
think of how to play this game, I think that there's kind of like 3 different kinds of players that will be interested in playing this game. First, I think it's going to be competitive players. These players are going to want to play the best decks in the game, and their goal is to just climb up the ladder. They're probably going to have fun, I'd have to assume,
but they really just want to focus on like what are the best decks. So the competitive player will always just be drawn to like having the best cards, the best decks, and just the best options. The second type of player, I think, is going to be a player that focuses on mainly just playing what they want to play. Like they played the TCG, they really loved, let's say, Cosmo. And what they want to do as soon as they get into Master Duel, they want to make their Cosmo deck. And that's all they want to play. And maybe down the line, they remembered that they also played Yosenjus and they want to craft that Yosenju deck. I think these players, like, they're definitely going to win games. Those decks are still very good. Maybe not as good as a deck, let's say, like Dry Brigade Lyrilusc, but they're really just going to focus on having fun with the game. They're just going to play what they want to play, and that's all that really matters. And then the third type of player is going to be kind of like what I like to call like a gambler player. They're not really going to put too much money into the game. If they do, it's just going to be little purchases here and there, and they're really just going to build a deck with what they pull. Now, the first two options, those players can choose to be free to play or just put in money and get like the decks that they want. If you're building a deck like Cosmo, it probably wouldn't cost that much money just to be able to put like maybe $30 into the game, get those packs, craft your cards, and then boom, you got your Cosmo deck. A deck like Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc, you're going to need like a ton of staples for the deck, a lot of high rarity cards. You're going to have to put in a little more money if you wanted like a full extra deck and main deck with that. But somebody that's just like here to play the game, they're able to just like buy the packs and just build with what they have. Maybe they don't have too much knowledge on the game. Maybe they do and they just want to have like a little fun with it. Maybe they want to do a free to play account. So they're just going to be buying the packs. Maybe they're just buying the regular Master Duel pack. Maybe they're not really focusing on buying the secret packs. But that player's just kind of go with the flow, not really focus too much on what the meta is. Maybe along the line they'll have a favorite deck, but for the time being, they're just going to play what they want to play. And where I fall in that, I thought I was going to be pretty competitive with this game, and I'm not saying that I won't be, but I think I did make maybe some bad choices starting off the game, where I put my gems. I'm pretty excited when it comes to pack opening games. Like, as soon as I get the gems, I'm gonna spend them. I'm gonna see what I can pull. I'm gonna hopefully I can get some good pulls. So the first deck that I decided to make, let's go into the view deck option. I decided to make an Infernoid deck. If you know anything about me, you know that I have a history with this deck. I really like it. I've played it so much, and it's just a really fun deck for me. Now, I did before filming this, I put in some more cards just to kind of show you like what else you can do with the deck, and I didn't really craft everything I needed to. I'm still missing a lot of key cards. I'm missing like one for one, uh, and that's really all I can think of right now. Maybe a couple other snows, solar recharges, Lumina. My extra deck is not looking very good, but this is a deck that I was playing on the ladder, and I was actually beating a lot of people with this deck just because of it's still a strong deck. You can get pretty lucky with the grass, but it's just something that I really wanted to play. Infernoids is one of my favorite decks, and this is definitely not an optimized version. You can see dangers in here and a ton of monsters that can be summoned with reasoning, so this should not be in the deck. But I wanted to show you what you could play in this deck, so I put a little extra cards, took some things out, and this is one of the things that I really wanted to do with Master Duel. I wanted to play something I loved, and if you see, this is not TCG list, so I can play snow, or I can play snow and I can play grass. Two very important cards in like a strategy like this. These cards are so powerful. They're game-changing cards, but just even like playing a couple games on the ladder, I remembered like why I love this deck. That's like what I really wanted from Master Duel. I was having a great time. I was having so much fun just being able to duel with like the cards that I loved. And even though like I didn't have an optimized deck, I was still like remembering why I liked this deck. It was so cool. So that was my first deck that I made. The second deck, maybe a little better of a deck, is True Draco. So this is the True Draco deck that I'm playing on ladder. I just hit gold not too long ago. The game's been only out for a day, so I haven't been playing too much. But this is kind of like my version of like a budget True Draco deck. It doesn't have Card Atomize in it. It has 3 Pot of Desires because I just pulled Pot of Desires. And of course you should be playing Card Atomize. That card says draw 3. That's one of the best techs in the game. But this was a deck that I think I was on like a 12 win streak. It got me like right to gold. Just went from the bottom to the top. And these cards are very strong. These cards are very strong and very cheap. Like these all the true Draco cards are like rares. Your monsters, even Ignis and Majesty Maiden, those are rares. Dynamite Knight is a super rare, which is also at 3. So like I said, I wanted to be kind of like careful with spending my gems after I realized it. So I only made one. Diagram is another super rare. All your true Draco spells, those are rares. I have the Lightning Storm and the Ash because I bought the bundles, along with the Judgment. Imperial Order, don't need it. Rivalry, super rare. This card is a common, which is ridiculous. This is a skill drain. This is just like my alternative to skill drain, which is at 3 in this game. Fogblade, just another effect negate. Uh, I put Fogblade in because I just had them, but it's actually working out really well. So there can only be one and a Crackdown just because those are cards that I pulled. I wanted to build a deck without having to spend too many resources and just be able to have fun. True Draco's another one of those decks where I played it a lot in the TCG, and I just had like so much fun playing it. So I immediately knew like, oh, I have to put Draco in here, and it's been working out pretty well. I think this deck is pretty good in Master Duel. I keep thinking I'm gonna say Duel Links, but this is Master Duel. So that's what I did with my gems. I built 2 decks that I really liked personally. Uh, they weren't the worst decks in the world, but man, are they not the best decks in the game. And when we look at the best decks, like what more of a competitive player would play, I put like just 3 together just to kind of like look at them. First, Eldritch. I think that this is a pretty good deck. Vanity's Emptiness is in the game. There's just so many cards. Your trap cards, skill drains at 3. Now this is not an optimized version of this deck. I just kind of threw something together just to show you like the general theme. Like your Golden Lord sending cards, boom, boom, boom. We like to send cards apparently. Cursed Eldland to search your stuff, send your stuff. Just being able to play like so many cards, like Summon Limit doesn't affect your deck. Skill Drain doesn't affect your deck. The Judgments, Card Itemize is at 3. What a strong deck. One of the other decks that the competitive player could play is Drytron, because Drytron is so strong in this deck. Uh, I really just wanted to showcase like some of the best cards it had, like having access to cross out with all of these strong cards, like Maxi is in the game. That's pretty ridiculous if you're a TCG player, but we make do. But we have Drytron Novas, Ava's at 3, Union Carrier to equip your Ava and then just send it. Your Drytron, oh my goodness. There are so many strong cards. And Ben 10 is at 3. Of course, we have 3 Preparation of Rites as well. So, like, this is such a strong deck. This is already, like, a really good deck in the TCG, and, like, so many things are hit in this deck. Like, you only have 1 Ben 10, 1 Ava. You don't even have the Union Carrier. So this is, in my opinion, like, one of the best decks. Maybe not, like, the best deck, but I think it is so strong. And the last deck that I wanted to just cover was the Leerless Tri-Brigade deck. This is another deck that in the TCG, this is just such a strong deck. It is a devastating deck. And then you have cards like Dark Ruler No More and Forbidden Droplet to go second. Oh, accidentally backed out. Well, let's go back into the deck. Yeah, Dark Ruler, Forbidden Droplet for your going second cards. Those are going to be very expensive cards. It's 2 ultra rares. But everything else is like a common in the main deck. We got Nerval's a common, Fractal's just a rare. Your Barrel Canaries, super rare Wagtail, that is fine. Common and rare kit. The extra deck, I believe, is where it gets a little more pricey. Recital Starling is going to be an ultra rare. Your F-Zero, your Ensemble Robin, your Zeus. Yeah, this is just like one of those decks where it is just as powerful in this game as it is in the TCG. And which makes me kind of sad actually, because like I wanted to play Master Duel to like kind of escape the TCG. There's I've been playing against Tri-Brigade Leerlust for the last couple months now, and yes, it's a good deck. I don't like the boards that they make. They're very annoying to deal with. So when I have to do that with like my Infernoid deck, it kind of gets a little annoying. Just because like if I brought my Infernoid deck to like my locals, I would not have that much of a good time. Like everybody's playing like the best decks. So I thought like this was kind of going to be a place where I could play a deck like Infernoid and start like playing against other decks where maybe I'd have like a really good matchup, but it really doesn't seem like it. Uh, I am getting higher in the ranked, and of course that's what happens when you get higher in ranked. You are going to play against better decks, better players, but there is no like other mode to play, so you're kind of just forced to play ranked right now. And that means that if I do want to play Infernoid, I'm going to have to play in the ranked ladder, and I'm going to have to get absolutely destroyed by somebody that opened like bird call. Now let's move over to my favorite place in the game, the place where we buy the packs. Everybody loves opening packs. It's such a fun experience. I mean, you never know what you're gonna get. It's gambling. Gambling's addicting. We love packs. So what I did with most of my gems is I decided to buy the master pack. There's just every single card in this pack, and it was very exciting to see what I could have pulled. Exactly what I could have pulled. There's really not the best of chances of getting like a super crazy card. Like of course you can always pull something like out of my first 10 packs I pulled a Halka Fibrax. That was awesome. But then I started pulling cards like Flameville cards and Junk Archer and I was like, "Oh my. I guess I get to disenchant these." Which I actually am very surprised with how good the disenchanting system is in this game. It feels like it's pretty easy to craft things with like the resources it gives you. So I think that's very cool. But there are just so many ultra rares where the packs really don't work out in your favor ever. Of course, you can buy the packs for the secret packs. I think these are pretty cool if there's something specific you want to focus on. So if you are one of those players that, man, I just really want to build my Prank Kid deck, which Prank Kids is one of the best decks in the game in my opinion. But like you just have access to your Prank Kid pack. We look at the featured cards. Like yes, you can get the cards on the other packs, but the main things in this pack are like Prank Kids plays. Then we have your Roaring Roaster, and then boom, all the prank kid cards, and of course you get your Ojamas on the side too in case you wanted your Ojamas. Like when I was buying my packs, I found the Infernoid pack wherever it is. I have too many packs now. I'm probably not going to see it right away, but yeah, the Infernoid pack had access to Cleaforts in it as well. Why I do not know, but oh, right here. Yeah, I ended up pulling just like four Cleafort Towers, which I was super annoyed with because I only got one Tiara and I only got one Anonku. But Cleafort Towers, I guess, was just like that was the card of the day. I pulled three of these and one foil, and then I got two Skybase for some reason, and I also have a disc. But I did get like all the rare Infernoids along the way. I got some Void Vanishments, I got some Void Imaginations. So in the end, I was able to get the cards, and I just disenchanted the Cleaforts just so I could make those Infernoid cards. So I do think it is very cool that we have access to these secret packs. Makes having like the deck that you really want very easy. And there's also like packs for like the better decks. Like there's a pack. There's a Sky Striker pack. So I do think packs are always going to be scary. You could get just awful pulls. It does have the guaranteed ultra rare if you pull like super bad packs. So I do think that is very cool that you have access to packs that really just help you fund like what you want to do in the game. But with my packs, I kind of made a bad mistake. I just only bought really master packs. I didn't even touch these packs. And when I did, I didn't buy that many and I was in and I was out. I pulled some desires and I was like, I don't need to do this anymore. So, I just really wanted to see what I could pull out of master pack. But I don't really think that's the best idea, like especially like when you're just not really knowing like how many packs you're going to get in the end. These games are a little bit of a slippery slope. Yeah, microtransactions feel a little dangerous at sometimes, but you really do just have to be smart with everything. And take it from me, I was not the smartest. But I do have an Infernoid deck and I do have a True Draco deck, and sometimes that's
Master
enough for
Duel?
me. I think is a beautiful game. I think there's so much to do. If you like Yu-Gi-Oh, this is just a game for Yu-Gi-Oh fans. There's just every card. Currently, it's a very unique ban list. You get to play with a ton of fan favorite cards in the TCG. I think that's very cool. Yes, I think it is very heavily a game where having access to the best cards will get you up in the ranks a lot faster, which is like Hearthstone, of course. You have to kind of pay to win in Hearthstone, and I'm not saying this is a pay to win game. You will still get wins. There's just so many different options and so many unique cards to where maybe sometimes you will beat that Tri Brigade deck with your Fluffle deck. Just they're unexpected, and you just have access to all the Fluffle cards. But I really do feel like if you want to be a competitive player in this game and just have something to show for that, it really is worth it to pay money in the game. But that is just to give you a little bit more advantage over maybe someone like a smart player who has been playing the game for a while and is being very careful with their gems and is just able to make really unique decks and just be able to counter the meta. And I do think that is it for this video. We talked about a lot. This is probably a lot longer of a video than I've ever made, and I'm very excited to continue making Master Duel videos, maybe a deck profile now and then. I'm not really sure. If there is something specific you want to see about Master Duel, please let me know in the comments. I am open to doing anything for videos. Uh, if it's just like unique cards to play for a single best of one format, which Master Duel is, or just being able to figure out like how to activate cards and when to do it, or really anything. I'm here to make those things happen. So, thank you everybody for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, have a good one.